Have you ever heard the expression, oh, it was just like heaven on earth? Maybe it was a beautiful sunset you saw in Hawaii. Maybe it was being out in nature in the forest somewhere, looking at the stars at night. Maybe it was the best restaurant you ever went to, and you had the best meal you've ever eaten, and you said, oh, how can I describe it? It was like heaven on earth. Well, one day it is going to be literally heaven on earth. Heaven and earth are going to merge together. Sometimes people say, as a Christian, I'll die and go to heaven and live there with Jesus forever. Well, that's actually not technically accurate. Yes, if you're a Christian, when you die, you will go to heaven. But you won't stay there forever, because the scripture teaches that heaven is going to come down to earth one day. In fact, over in Ephesians 1:10, it says, God's plan is to bring all things in heaven and earth together under one head, even Christ. My friend Randy Alcorn has written a lot of great books, but I think the greatest of all of his books is simply titled Heaven. And in it, he makes this statement, and I quote, we won't go to heaven and leave earth behind. Rather, God will bring heaven and earth together into the same dimension with no wall of separation, no armed angels to guard heaven's perfection from sinful mankind, end quote. Jesus will make earth into heaven and heaven into earth. Even as that wall of separation that separated us from God called sin will be broken down, so also will that wall that divides heaven and earth be broken down. It's a new world that's coming. It's a better world that is coming, but it is not a sequel, it's a remake. Here's another detail given to us in the Bible. When God brings the new earth about, there'll be no more ocean. Surfers, what can I say? They're going, whoa, dude, I'm not stoked about that at all. Actually, no, I don't know any surfer that talks that way, by the way. But when people do imitations of Californians, it's always like, whoa, dude, cowabunga, Well, no one talks that way, but if it makes you happy, go ahead and mock us here in California. We can take it. But seriously, surfer dudes, there won't be any ocean. I know that's depressing, but if God takes something away, he'll only give you something more amazing in its place. And so just think about how great this is all going to be. Now, at this moment, 2/3 of the earth's surface is covered with water. The remaining 1/3 has large areas that are rendered worthless because of mountains and deserts. There's only a small portion of the earth's surface that is inhabitable. But when God establishes his kingdom, all of those barriers that separate us now will be gone. The barriers that separate nations will be gone. The barriers that separate areas where people live will be gone. There'll be no divisions at all. And I might add, there'll be no racial divisions either. When we get to heaven, the Bible tells us in Revelation 7, there's a great multitude which no man can number from every nation, from all the tribes and the languages standing before the throne, people clothed in white robes with palm branches in their hands. And so everyone's going to be there from every nation, from every race. This is going to be a glorious day. And we will be reunited with loved ones who have preceded us to heaven. Do you have someone that you love that is in heaven right now? Maybe a mom or a dad, maybe a grandparent. It could be a spouse. It could even be a child. And you miss them so deeply. Just know this, they're not just a part of your past. They will also be a part of your future. And you will be able to personally meet the great heroes of the Bible, like Isaiah, Jeremiah, Elijah. They're all there. Eve, Sarah, Ruth, and Mary, David, Noah, Jonah, Peter, James, and John. And then more contemporary Christian heroes like William Wilberforce, Abraham Lincoln, C.H. Spurgeon, D.L. Moody, C.S. Lewis, Martin Luther King. The list just goes on and on. You'll be able to hang out with these people, spend time with them. And of course, you'll be with the Lord himself. And that is the most important thing of the afterlife, is being with Jesus. in this closeness to him. You will have open access to the throne of God. Look at Revelation 21:3. We read these words. I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle or dwelling place of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God will be with them, and he will be their God. Imagine this for a moment. You can approach him at any time. Open access to the very presence of God. No appointment needed. Years ago, we booked the entire park of Disneyland for a Christian event. It was really a lot of fun, I have to say. On every stage in the park, we had a Christian band with an evangelist. I actually stood over on Tom Sawyer's Island and preached the gospel. It was kind of a surreal moment, standing there looking at the Matterhorn in the distance, and with like 15,000 people on the other side watching and listening. I told them how to come to Christ, and many did. And we did all of our counseling in the Golden Horseshoe Theater, not far from Tom Sawyer's Island. But before we opened this event up for the public, they had all the public leave, and they were getting the park cleaned up for our special event. And I was able to get in early and have the whole place to myself. This is like a kid's dream come true, just walking around in Disneyland, not fighting crowds, looking at everything. I could get on this ride, I could try this other thing. It was so amazing. But imagine you're in heaven with open access to God. No barriers, nothing restricting you. It's the ultimate e-ticket. If you know what that means, it means you're old. Because kids, a long time ago, before you bought season passes for Disneyland, we bought little ticket books. And in the ticket books, there was a ticket called the e-ticket, and that got you on the really fast rides, and that day, like the Matterhorn and others. And so it's the ultimate e-ticket ride, ultimate access to God himself. One more passage I want to read. Revelation 21:4, God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There'll be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There'll be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. He that sat on the throne said, behold, I make all things new.